remember in this place where we live, people haven't really gone to school. Personally speaking, my parents have never gone to school. Now I went to a school that is known as Brother Bisang Catholic Education Center. My parents would have wished to take me to a better school. And I believe you as people who are here would like to give a better education to your children. And that is why you dream of bigger schools than you are in. But now my parents, that is what they could provide at that point in time. This school that had started as a feeding program. Now as a person, I had this goal of joining a national school in our county. So there's a national school that is known as Ololaisa High School. That was my dream school because it was the nearest school from where I come from, and they had bursaries where students like me would pursue education even if your parents are not in a position to pay for you your school fees. Now, I cleared primary school in 2012 and I had really worked hard and I got 368. Of course, that wasn't the best I could get because of a few things back at home. However, this 368 still earned me a spot in this national school. My parents were not in a position to pay for me the school fees to go to this national school. So, it really came as a disappointment to me because it was my dream to get into this school and go and study there and be the best of who I wanted to be. But I couldn't, simply because of something I wasn't able to control as a person. Because you really can't control your parents' income or the situations they are in. You just have to learn how to live with them. The same thing now happened. I couldn't go to that school. So I was at home. I'm desperate. I don't know what I'll do. I've looked for bursaries. I haven't found bursaries. Yet, I'm supposed to be in school. I still thank Brother Bisang because they chipped in. Now, they came and offered me a deal. They told me, if you agree to join Brother Bisang Secondary School, we will give you a full scholarship again to pursue your high school education. Now, personally, I never wanted to go to the same school that I was in. But all in all, I agreed. And I remember I wanted to drop out of school because of that. I had said, no, this is not what I wanted to be. This is not the school I wanted to go to, and I really can't make it in this school. So I had the thought of dropping out of school, and I remember I used to stay home for maybe weeks, 2 weeks, a week, not going to school. And my parents would try to talk me into going back to school, but I wouldn't listen. Because that time I used to blame my parents because I was telling them, it is them that have made this chance of going to a national school just vanish away because they couldn't pay school fees. But then the school took me through a series of counseling, and at last I was able to fit in this school. And in 2013 now, I began my high school studies in Brother Bisang Secondary School. I missed mentorship from my parents because your parents are coming home late and they're leaving when you're asleep. If you're missing something that is really important in your life, there's an emptiness that comes in. So how do you try to fill that emptiness? You look for something that could fill that void, right? Be it from within or without, from the outside environment. Then, now I remember in Form 2, that is when my passion for reading books came along. However, I never read any book that I came along. I only said I'd read self-help books. Books that will help me develop as a person. One of the books that I read early in Form 2, you've heard of The Secret. it's a book that has really helped me out. Then I've read How to Win Friends and Influence People. My father was an alcoholic. He would drink every day, and he would drink like almost the money he had made during the course of the day. And you know, as a Form 2, that started happening in Form 2. As a Form 2, this was something that was really hard for me to deal with, because if you're in my shoes, you really don't know what to do. Your father drinks. You really don't know what you can do to your father. That was me now in Form 2. And I remember, you know, things were not that easy. Remember, I'm still in school. I'm studying very hard, but you have something from home that is pulling me back. And this alcoholism led to devastating effects in the family. One thing I remember is my sisters were sent home because of school fees. My sisters are still in the same school that I was in. They were sent home because of school fees. Now, as the eldest, of course, you'd feel the pinch. You're the only person going to school, yet you have sisters who are at home. Because of that love that exists between siblings, you really can't really stand that. And I remember I used to go and hawk bananas every day after school so that I would try to raise some portion of their school fees. I had to go and speak to the school and explain to them the family situations that we were in, and at least look for a way that the school could help. And they agreed to help. They said they'll sponsor both my sisters' education to stay in the same school that I was in. I graduated now with an A-. You know, I never wanted to get an A- because I had really worked hard. And you know, when I'm saying I was really working hard, let me tell you one of the things that I used to do. I remember I used to finish everything at around 10. Cooking, washing uniform for the next day, and polishing shoes, and helping my siblings with their assignment. And I remember I would dip my feet in cold water so that I could at least study for something, because at the end of the day I was really tired. I cleared high school in 2016 despite everything, and graduated with an A-. And this A- now is what took me to study at the University of Nairobi. And I started looking for schools in the US. And I applied to a total of 18 schools. And out of these 18 schools, I only got a single school. So out of these 18 schools now, I got into Harvard. And now, you know, the school fees at Harvard they're $80,000 in a year. The good thing is that Harvard is paying all that for me because they gave me that full scholarship. So at this point, I'd like to ask you a very simple question. Who would you give 32 million? Who would you really give 32 million?